Hey guys, been a while. I figured let's just rattle one off. I get stuck where I watch a movie and I want to take my time making a pretty high production value video, and it just gets stuck. I get busy with a bunch of other things and it just sits collecting dust. So I just got back from Dream Scenario and I figured let's just vamp a little bit about it and put it up. So let's give this a shot. I'm going to keep this very mild spoilers, if any. There's not really much to spoil. If you know the premise, he plays a sort of tepid professor who teaches about metaphysical things and collective consciousness and stuff like that. And he's very unimposing, he's kind of awkward and very corny. The corniest character I think you've ever seen Nick Cage play. Correct me if I'm wrong, I haven't seen all of his movies. But he's a likable guy. He's got a small family and he's teaching, he's a humble man. And then, one day randomly he starts appearing in seemingly everyone's dreams. It just kind of starts off with a couple people that he knows, like his students, and then a stranger. He's just kind of in people's dreams walking around. He's an observer. That's kind of one of his internal conflicts in this movie, is he wants to write a book, but he hasn't actually put pen to paper yet. He's a man of theory. He kind of likes to teach and expands people's minds, but he doesn't have anything concrete yet. So he gets a little insecure when people start telling him, when they have these dreams about him, that he's just kind of walking by being a passive observer. He doesn't really feel like that is good enough. He wants to be seen more as an active person, someone who takes action, or at the very least someone who would help someone in a time of need if they're in danger. Pretty soon he goes viral though when people start recognizing him, and it starts to become a lot of fun. He kind of appreciates the applause from his students, his family, his kids want him to drive him to school. He's now like the cool dad. Just kind of got famous overnight. They're asking him what's it feel like to be viral, and he doesn't really know. Kind of the boomer generation. He's never been on Facebook before, so he realizes he's got people reaching out to him all over the world, like, stop appearing in my dreams. Some people are spooked by it at first, but not many. Most people are just kind of like, hey, you're that guy who's in my dreams and all over the news, and oh, you're a real person. Oh, okay. Is this really you? I thought you were maybe just a figment of my imagination. And it's played really funny. The editing, the choppiness of it all, it's very campy looking. The colors are bright. There's nothing that screams horror. So when you see horror in the genre on Google or whatever you're seeing it on, you're kind of asking yourself, what's so horrifying about this? And I guess it's more the implications. It's kind of like one big Twilight Zone episode where you take an average Joe who's got some interesting ideas, who thinks he's maybe not fully recognized and appreciated for them, and he gets skyrocketed to fame overnight and feels like he kind of deserves that. And he might, and the audience might agree with that. But things do take a dark turn if you can guess that these dreams that everyone seems to be having of him sort of slowly start turning into nightmares. The first dreams he appears in, the people that he seems to be passively walking past are in a form of danger, but he's not really doing much to help them. And it's kind of funny to look back at a dream like, oh man, I smashed my face into a pole and all my teeth came out. Like, I hate the teeth crumbling dreams that I get sometimes. They're horrible, but it's fun to look back at them and kind of giggle about it. Otherwise, you'll start to mull on it and maybe take it a little too seriously. And I think that's what this movie is kind of trying to ask us to do as an audience, is to start thinking about our dreams a little bit more seriously and what it could imply if everyone sort of had the same dreams. What would that do for society? What if one person became frequent in everyone's dreams overnight, per se, and that persona in their dreams was not who they were in real life? But it's too late at that point. If there's an emotional experience tied with an image of a person, then what if the damage is already done? The impression of you in their mind has already been made before you even meet them. And so that's what I found most creepy about this movie, is sort of how easy it is to sort of rise to fame, and then some sort of rephrasing of your personality and who you are to society gets taken out of context, right? Maybe twisted or just unfavorable to you in some way. And then it all comes crashing down, and there's nothing you can do to rectify your reputation. I like how this movie explores collective unconscious and the idea that at least somewhere in the world half the planet's asleep, right? And I don't know very many movies that touch on that and what the implications would be socially, because we're very social creatures, and how much of our social lives are actually affected by our dreams. It's something that we don't really ask a lot or think about. Some people just keep dream journals by their beds and then they'll forget it after they write it down. No need to read that again. It probably sounds crazy in a week or two. To people in that moment, everyone's woken up from a dream that felt particularly impressionable, whether good or bad or neutral. It can linger with you. It can linger with you, and it can create some repercussions, and who knows what those consequences are. And that's what this movie is kind of about. There's a great line by the wife, what are the unintended consequences of something happening on a quantum level. It's not anyone's fault. It's just happening, and what can you do about it? So this man's on a mission to save his image, save his reputation, but it gets out of hand. He can't do anything. He just has to, he's forced into isolation sort of thing, Get away from us, man. You're this creepy guy in our dreams. And he just wants to be a regular Joe, but there's no going back to that. You can't put the cat back in the box. There's a lot to unpack with this movie for sure. It definitely left me thinking about the deeper levels of it all. And I think it was really well made. It might go over a lot of people's heads. And for a movie that's all about dreams, it's very based in reality. The reactions people have and the marketing and the materialization and the shallowness that people have to personal space when someone is deemed a social figure. It's all very realistic. And it hits home. You definitely sympathize with this character because he's just a regular guy who didn't do anything to earn any of the positive or negative that he gets. He's the definition of a neutral character, but he's so endearing, and just knowing it's Nick Cage is the best casting for this role, especially considering the work he's done in the past. Some of the shots and sequences are out of order, and they really play with your mind, keeping you guessing whether or not he might snap and turn into this monster that people are seeing in their dreams and potentially creating themselves collectively for some reason. It's never fully explained, as not much is on the quantum level. What I took away from this movie is a reminder to never judge someone by a first impression, to always reassess your impressions of people, never trust your dreams, never trust a curated image provided to you by a brand. Try to get ahead of any potential slander or libel coming your way. And don't cave into irrational fears. Always rely on your waking senses. I think this movie is trying to remind you to trust what you can see, feel, and touch, and what's real. Because dreams can feel real, and they can provide very important mental processing and recuperation that we need to survive as social beings. But in the end, dreams are not reality, and we might be making a mistake collectively as humanity by letting dreams, fantasies, ideas even when you're awake, creeping into reality, to try to keep those separate. Be vigilant in being able to discern between the two. That's what I took from this movie. Let me know what you guys think. If I'm way off, if I'm overthinking this, way too heady. I just thought it was really well done. I can't wait to rewatch it. Definitely top 5, maybe at least top 10 of the year. Super fun movie. Go check it out. Thanks for watching.